super alert. I hope you guys can see us. It's kind of early. We're rolling out.
It's time to go.
Time to go. We're trying to beat the heat in our area. So let's do this. Let's put it on.
Yeah, it's really warm this morning. And it's very humid in the area. It's about 6:14 a.m.
Birds are happy. Probably do the yard on Monday.
In a little bit, we come across this bird that's just sitting on the road.
The thing I like about my yard, even when it's not done, it doesn't look terrible.
And he doesn't even get out of the way.
Blow, the leaves back onto the yard. Not keeping the streets, We're rolling out. Hope you guys get a chance to get your K's in. It's Saturday morning. Got an appointment. Look at this bird. Just sitting there. It's not hurting.
Yeah, we just passed a bird. He's just sitting on the road. He didn't even move as we approached. Usually they fly off.
That's weird. Usually they move. There must be something going on. Yeah. Rolling out. Well, we'll have to remember to do this later in the morning because this thing is not very good in low light. It's not designed for that. Yeah.
On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We went up Creekside to Kirkendall Road, got to Flint Ridge, went through Sterling Ridge, took Branch Crossing, Research Forest. We went back to Honea, Egypt, took Fishcreek all the way into Honea. We did not find Team RR. We came across one rider, so we decided we're going to go visit the 15% lady. We went out there, cut across, but we did not take 830. We took Old Montgomery Road, then we came down 1097 across the lake, got back and took the forest, went north. We stopped in the forest. We found a place where there's a owner that basically set up a place where cyclists can drink. He made a special place for us to stop to get water, so we filmed that. So that was really neat. Came back into Montgomery, cut back across and went down through Great Lake Estates onto our favorite road, Honea Egypt Road, where I was bitten by a bug while climbing the last hill there and dealt with the bug without stopping, and we ended up rolling across to shake it out of my jersey. And so it was very interesting. It got hot. It was one of the hotter days we've had. So I hope you all enjoy the clips. At this point, we just crossed 1488. We're on Conroe Huffsmith Road, and we didn't see Team RR. So this is Davis. She rides with them from time to time, but she's not one of the riders that want to work hard or go faster. So a lot of times she falls on the pace. So I basically say good morning and I keep riding. I'm ready to ride. It's clear that Team RR, for monitoring their board, Mark was out of town, so everybody else just kind of were doing their own thing, I guess. Yeah, you see her jersey on the left side? She got her pockets full. It's hanging all the way down her lower hip. Look at it. That's got to be uncomfortable. Look at where the pockets are. It should be up.
Who are you guys?
We good.
Digging the jerseys.
Thank you.
She compliments us on our jerseys.
Okay.
You notice I'm riding ahead because every time we meet Davis, she's one of these people that is full of doom and gloom. So I really don't want to chat. You talk to her and you get depressed. There's a deer over there I'm warning them about. I move across the road. He's just hanging out right there. I don't like to pass close to them. So I ride ahead. I figured Paul would get the hint so we can just keep going, because she's not going to keep up with us. She never tries to even keep up with the group. So I'm just riding ahead. I'm still within earshot. I hear what they're talking about. she starts to talk about COVID and how it's not over. You know, that's what I'm talking about. This is not, I don't want to hear that this morning. I'm ready to ride. So I just keep riding. I figure Paul will get the hint and he'll come
the
up.
material is very light.
We're coming up to 2978. Right here she says
Can't hear you.
that she wasn't going to spend the money for Rafa or something like that. I'm not
All
sure
right.
what brought that up. I just kind of like,
Okay, be careful. They're doing some construction.
it's not for everybody.
Okay.
That's why we have choices.
Huh?
I'm not sure why she felt it necessary to say that. At this point, I said hi. I've done
All
my
right, you
goodbyes.
too.
I'm riding. I have no interest in Davies. So I told Paul, I said, what brought up the conversation about her not wanting to spend the money for Rafa? She told Paul she knows about Rafa.
It's not.
It's high end, and I'm not willing to spend the money for Rafa. Well, that's fine. That's why they have choices in life. I was telling him a jersey was all the way down there.
I
pocket. Hopefully her food won't fall out. You know, get what you pay for. Be happy with what you have. We didn't bring up the conversation about jerseys. She saw the jersey, she complimented us. She proceeded to say that, oh, I know about Rafa, it's high end, but I won't spend the money for Rafa. Well, that's your choice.
Okay.
I feel I'm worth it. If you're gonna work hard for money, you don't want to spend it on yourself, be my guest. That's your prerogative. So I told Paul, I said, let's do this. Let's ride. It's a very nice morning. It's a little humid, more than we've been used to. You know, 21 Celsius is right at 70 degrees, but it felt warmer. Ended up being a very hot day. Paul sitting on my left. I'm going to come up, take a pull. That's how you move over. Don't let too much of a gap opens as you move over. You don't have to work that hard. There is a feeling by a lot of people that they have to justify why they buy something or whatever. If you're going to get your butt out of the bed and go earn money, who do you need to justify what you buy to? Who? You're the one working for it. Buy whatever the heck you want. It's your money. If you don't feel you're worth it, then I feel sorry for you. Because you can't take it with you. I'm very thankful for the parents I had. They really gave me a strong self-esteem. So I'm Teflon done when it comes to stuff, because I don't look to anybody for approval. I know who I am. I know who my people are. I know where I come from. That's all that matters. That's what's important to everybody. You know who you are? What do you care? That's what it's all about. So you might as well make the most of the time you have here. So Davis felt the need to compliment us about the jersey, but then proceed to say she wouldn't buy it for herself. Check out my cadence. I'm winding it up a little bit. There's a bit of a crack here where they haul those bridges in where it meets the road, and they don't try to make them very smooth. It's level here, so we decided to work a little bit. I like to get my rides in early as possible, even during the week where possible, because then it's out of the way, nothing else can interrupt, because sometimes you can't control how your day goes. So on Saturday, no question about it, I have an appointment with the bike. The morning hours are for the bike, as much as possible, regardless of what's going on with the weather. You guys know that, those who have been on the channel for a while. So it just kind of surprised me that a whole group wouldn't ride on a day like this. Beautiful day. Yeah. We're going to start visiting different groups as time permits. Keep things interesting. The light, this is a short light, so we're just kind of rolling through because we suspect it will change before we get there. And there it does.
Yeah.
I flick my elbows, the ball can come up in the rotation. To get a shot of his ratio he's riding there. He's in a 50 chain ring. I think I'm shooting mine here. I'm probably riding a 53, 19 or 21, something like that. Probably a 21. Yeah. It's a 21. I primarily pick the gear based on feel and what the terrain is offering, and make sure that I stay on top of the gear. The heat has come to the area and it came with a lot of humidity. We get a lot of afternoon showers. It might be a 5-minute shower if that, but just enough to make it steamy. So the humidity here is kind of thick. Even today, I went out for a spin and it was just very humid. I was a bit tired on this ride. Most of the ride I could not get my heart rate to hit the zones it usually does. It doesn't stop me from riding, but it's just a matter of how you feel while you're riding. Glad we left early because we were able to tolerate the heat more. See, right now it's 7:30. We've been riding about an hour 15 thereabouts. And we're already out of the city, heading out. We decided that I think it was somewhere out here that I just suggested, I said, hey man, why don't we just go and do that 15% climb again? instead of going back into Montgomery like we usually do. We can hit it on the way back and kind of go to the lake. But the main reason I suggested it was because I wanted to try a road that Mo and them had used on one of their rides called Old Montgomery Road. I don't think this light was very long. Yeah, there you go, it changed. I'm not sure what we're talking about here, but it's gonna be something funny.
Yeah.
One of the most neglected parts of the bike fit are your cleats. If they're not set right, you'll have numb feet.
As soon as you
And
threw
you'll be
that
pulled out
back
of
in
your
the
sweet
empty
spot.
Anderson, I went all the way across.
So remember that. If you're not feeling comfortable on the bike and you got aches in your hands, because if your feet are not happy, you tend to offload your feet with your hands. So numb hands, pain in the elbow, all of that. Any little pain and aches you're having, go ahead and get some help. Get your bike fitted, because you're not going to be riding a lot if you're uncomfortable. Or you would just be dealing with a lot of unnecessary discomfort for years. A lot of riders settle for that. They think everybody's uncomfortable. So a lot of times when people say, I don't see how you can ride 100 miles, that's part of it. They can't ride long. They have to stop. A lot of the guys we ride with have to stop when they ride for like 45 minutes to an hour because they're not very comfortable. They have numbness in different parts of their anatomy. So you need to make sure that the bike is an extension of your body.
Yeah, let's kill it after the bridge. How's that? Okay. As soon as we plan that.
So we're talking about what we're going to do with the route and whether we're going to keep filming here and all of that. And so that's where you saw me turn back. So at this point, we agreed that we're going to visit our 15% lady, and we're going to try the new road that we saw that Mo and the WCC boys did, I think last Sunday, called Old Montgomery Road. I was just curious to know why did they pick that road, knowing that it had to be interesting. You have to practice riding out of the saddle. That's a necessary skill. And you need to be able to do it without infringing upon your momentum.
All right.
We're on 105 now, Highway 105, heading towards Conroe. If we're not already in Conroe, it's hard to see the city limit signs. When you look on the map, they're kind of haphazard as far as how the county lines are drawn. So we did not take 2854 to get out here. We went ahead and rode straight to Highway 105 off of Fishcreek and decided to use that route to go to Foy Mount Martin Drive, which has that 15% climb. You can see it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. It's already 26 degrees Celsius. That's close to 80 degrees because it's about probably 78 degrees there, about Fahrenheit. We're not fighting any particular headwind, but the wind is out here. Yeah, anything substantial on the road, what I'm pointing at was a piece of plastic that if you rolled over it, it could flip up on you. Anything substantial, I point at it to make sure people pay special attention. I'm using my hips to steer the bike around all these little pieces of debris and rocks. That must be something substantial. Yeah, that's like a piece of metal. A round piece of metal is sitting on the lane there. All those pieces of debris can even damage your car if you roll over them to flip up. I'll go ahead and keep the pace decent here because our goal was to increase the distance covered for the time we're out here this weekend on this ride. That was our goal. Look at that sun. That thing is blazing. Keeping my cadence in the lower 90s, anywhere from 85 to about 95 here. I didn't feel so great this morning during the ride, but you should be able to ride even when you're not feeling your best, and then what you do is you adjust your riding. So I'm using more of my leg strength on this ride than stressing my aerobic capacity. But I'm doing that to get around those little rocks. There are a lot of little rocks. I don't like to go over them. Some of them you can't really see them that well. See, everything's green. We've had a lot of rain in the area. Not excessive rain, but just consistent. A lot of thunderstorms. Resting on the brake hoods, my wrists, and I think my arms are on top of the bars a little bit. So it's a very comfortable position. If you watch my pedaling, I am pulling up and letting my legs do independent work, meaning that I'm not letting any leg get a free ride on the other. So if you don't use your pedal circle very well, then you can kind of make one leg do more work than the other. You need to basically ride where both your legs are doing the work. But it all comes from you making sure your bike fits you to where you get comfortable and have your weight distributed correctly. riders that compete, the first thing they do is get a fit. Period. They understand its significance. Recreational riders, that's the last thing they do. They only get a fit when they're having a pain. I got this pain in my knee or something. Then they show up. So it's a matter of prioritization. That's why I started saying it all begins with fit. I wouldn't run a marathon with ill-fitting shoes. Tear up your feet. See, my heart rate stays in zone 1. Most of this ride, it would not go up. I was working hard, it just wouldn't go up. That meant my body was tired. We can't get a break in the traffic here, so it's like, it's just busy even though it's early. We'll go ahead and stop here at this intersection that will take us into the neighborhood. Now that we've discovered this steep climb, and that we come out here, we try our best to ride it. It's cleared up a bit, so I told Paul, let's go ahead and sneak across. Because that light won't necessarily change for us. They don't even have a button that you can push over there, because that's not really a major street over there. It's almost like a driveway to some private residence. As soon as you turn, the hill begins. Look at the grade above the metric there where the cyclist is spinning. The silhouette, already 4%. And this thing understates it, says 6 right now. We just begin, I just stand. I mean, it's so you know 5 to 6%, and just look at it. I really like coming out here. I mean, it's just that when you come out here, it's at least a 5-hour ride. Anyway, you decide to go back. So you've got to commit to a long ride. Even if you do out and back, it's at least 5 hours. It's staying at 4 on the metric. I think it was between 5 and 6 most of the time. I'm in a very small ratio, probably a 39-21 or 23, something like that. You see my cadence in the 90s. You just have to pretty much climb by feel. Some days you can climb with a slower ratio if it feels right. Some days you spin more, it's in a higher cadence. You know, you just got to be able to do both, I think. A lot of times when I'm making moves on a climb, I use a high cadence. It's more efficient. And there she is, Foyt Mountain Drive. Bikes, as soon as you turn. See, it says 8. It gets to about 50 and then I register because I stay on the left. It's steepest to the right where the car is parked. You can see Paul is climbing, that's why the camera keeps going down. I think he's standing, he might be standing. That's what I meant. So we go over it, I mean it just felt hard. You can't really climb that thing, you just gotta claw your way up. But apparently this was not enough once again, so we're riding along, and I think he gives me the camera here.
Well, he didn't get enough, so we're going back to do another one.
So we turn around and watch. He tries to reach for the camera. I said, nope, you want to do this? I'm going to film you.
No, I got it. I want to film you. You want to do another one? I'm going to film you. He wants to do another one. I'm gonna film him. Right turn. You go ahead. You lead the way. This is your idea.
So he figured if we're gonna ride all the way out there, we can't just turn right and do that little piece. We need to do the climb. So makes sense.
You're good.
So we turned this cul-de-sac here. Because he told me he was turning. That's why I told him you're good. He wanted me to know he was going to turn. I kind of expected that. That's the best spot to turn. It has a cul-de-sac on the other side anyway. So I turn here. I end up sitting for most of that climb. Normally a climb like that, I wouldn't sit. I can put out more power out of the saddle with less strain on my body. But I go ahead and sit so I can get a good shot of Paul climbing. That's why I sit.
The legs are telling you to fly on.
He said something about his legs. He starts zigzagging.
I'd much rather be standing.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here, and you can see I'm just really focused on filming him.
Because I'm seated, I'm cheating.
And that's what you do on the very steep
That
climb.
was
This is a 15% climb. It might say 7 in the metric. There is more than that. And when it's very steep, 15, 20%, you need to stand and do what you can, zigzag, whatever. You can't really ride them unless you've got like a 32 on the
seated
back.
the whole time. Harder, it seemed. Felt harder when I was seated.
Yeah, I wasn't really focused on climbing it.
Green up.
At this
This
point,
is our 8:30. We're gonna go straight here on Little Egypt. The line was quick.
yeah, this is
That's
Highway 830 and Little Egypt Road. Instead of turning left like we did the last time, we're gonna go straight. That's Old Montgomery Road. When this cross is over.
I had gotten a link to Mo's ride on Strava. Mo is our former Italian pro in the area, and they went down this road instead of going this way like we usually go. That way. So we're gonna go check it out because those guys don't go down any road for no reason. And they ended up going at some CVS.
Everything Mo
and they
does
turned
is
to the parking lot
calculated.
to get to 1097. It hits 1097.
It's
The road that goes across the lake. Yeah. This just takes us bypass through the neighborhood. So let's check this out and see.
8:30.
Yeah, this is if 8:30 goes. If you go straight, it just dead ends into the lake. So I want to see. The road looks interesting. Well, this is green, so it'll be a while. So, speed it up. So we're exploring a new road to us. This is us. Green up.
There are cars behind us, so we
All right.
give them enough room. I'm gonna give Paul the camera, but I'm waiting for these cars to go by so he can come get it. There's a couple of them.
Got cars behind us, so I want to get. Oh yeah, now I see why. Check out this road. Here.
So now we see why Mo and them came down this road. Look at it.
Told you these guys don't come down the road for nothing. Look at this road.
It's just up and down, up and down. It's all the way through the trees there. It's just going up. And it's not super steep. It was probably 3.5, maybe 4% at the highest pitch, but it just stayed like that. Don't follow this road. This road goes directly to 1097, but it goes to the east. So they didn't go all the way to 1097. About 1/8 of a mile before they got there, they turned on another street, which we end up taking as well, to go west. There's a lot of construction on 1097 in this stretch. We didn't film that part, but we filmed an area where we end up in a motorcycle convoy at the stop where the flagman, there's like a one lane road, and they're stopping one side of the traffic to let the other go, and we're right in the midst of it. It's just going up. We're just climbing, so you just gotta find a rhythm. It's not steep. It's about probably 2% thereabouts, up and down. So as you go up, it levels off a little bit and it pitches up again, but you're mostly climbing. And it seemed a shorter way to get to 1097, but we're still about 5 to 7 miles from crossing the lake once we get there. About 10 kilometers from the lake crossing itself. There's some logging going on over there. I hope all this road reminded me a little bit about Jackson Road before it was repaved. There are a few ruts, probably from those heavy trucks. It kicks up again here. Just 2% is a little more than that. I keep my gears low just to stay on top of it. I thought I said it reminds me of the old Jackson Road. There were about 3 or 4 of more and those guys that came out here on this Sunday before our ride here. And I got to see the course. I said, let's check out that road. So it's a nice road. You know, we had maybe 2 or 3 cars so far pass us. The only thing is there's a construction on 1097, which is not filmed, but once they get through with that, that should be nice. This takes us near a town called Willis. It seems to level off here a little bit, but still says 1%. So the entire stretch, the road's going up. So it's nice. You get to work. I made a joke about
reason for his madness.
So I knew why. I knew they came down this road for a reason. It's nice, quiet. Not too many cars, and this is Saturday. Let's see,
up there.
almost 10 o'clock in the morning. So that means they came on a Sunday, so it was even more deserted.
1097.
So we can see 1097 as we approach the top of this climb here. See, it says Highway 45. So we're not going to go straight. We're going to turn left. And that will take us like a bypass. That's 1097 down the road. We're going to turn left
That's
here.
CFS. Yeah. Yeah.
Old Montgomery.
Old Montgomery. It's nice.
So this is just a bypass here that will take us westerly because we don't want to go east. This takes us back in the direction we want to go. There's the highway right there, 1097. If you go east, it will take you across Interstate 45 into a town called Willis. There's a lot of construction. The other barrels, you can begin to see a few barrels on the corner. As we go left, there will be even more barrels.
We went this way though, right? That one?
This way to go home.
Yeah.
Huntsville is that way.
Right, but
we didn't use this road to go to Huntsville. Green.
Okay.
Yeah, we used 2652 north, Highway 30. We went north, and then we came back south when we went to Huntsville. We returned on this road. That's what Paul's asking about. We came back on this road the day we went to Huntsville through the town Willis that's behind us. We're headed west here. So this stretch of you see the concrete blocks on the left there.
We're at the lake.
Look at the motorcycles behind us. We're in traffic because the construction here, they have only a one-lane road at this point. So the other side is being let through, and we're waiting for our turn so we can go through. We can only go through on the left. You see the flagman sign here. It's almost like they just started doing this because they really didn't have it coordinated very well when we got here at this point. And so we spent a lot of time waiting just to get across this little section. It's the tail end of the lake. This is not the main crossing here. This is where we came out from a couple of weeks ago, right there, that road. We came out from there. This time we took Old Montgomery Road and came down on 1097.
Just a short stretch.
That's the lake house on the left there that we usually, sometimes we would stop there. They have a store in there. When we come down that street I just pointed out. So they finally got it coordinated. I tell Paul to keep his eye out because these guys are stopping this line frequently. So I roll in front of him and let him know, keep your eye on them because we're being stopped very frequently. Now we're being let through because the other traffic has been made to stop. I don't know what they're doing with this road here, but that's pretty much what you have to do in that situation. You're part of traffic. You get out there. I didn't realize there were that many motorcycles behind us. While I was riding, I did not look behind. I was keeping my eye on what was going on up ahead until Paul mentioned to me when I noticed all these guys passing us here.
It was like when I was coming down.
That's what he said.
It's like I'm squeezing, but it's letting just slide.
Oh, I was asking him about his brake. He was messing with his rear brake.
I thought maybe for some reason I left it open. That's why I was checking. That was cool.
This jersey was surprisingly very comfortable. Even a little more comfortable than that Pro Team jersey I wore. It's very breathable. This is their lightweight brevet jersey. And I believe I did a review of it a year ago. It's very breathable. So it's great for hot weather and for all day events. It has like 5 pockets, 5 or 6 pockets, I believe. 5 pockets. I think there's one on the front and 4 in the back. There's one across your back where you can store. That's why I ended up putting my gloves. As the day went on, I took off my gloves. But this jersey is designed for all-day adventures on the bike. This is, I call it a sleeper to him. He said, yeah, because it's going to kick up and you can't really tell. It looks flat. You just feel it when you get there. But it's not flat. So our main reason for coming out this way was to see Old Montgomery Road. At the time I didn't know what the name was, but I knew that it was straight on 8 off of Little Egypt Road. I figured we'd go straight and check it out, and I'm glad we did.
Because there is no way you can enjoy what we just enjoyed back there.
There was a stretch, what Paul is talking about, there was a stretch where there were construction blocks on the side of the road, so we had to use the main lane, and we were cruising at about 27 miles per hour thereabouts for quite a while. We had to take up the entire road because they had paved it with concrete, but it wasn't wide enough to let people pass in our lane, so we put our heads down and just went. We didn't have the camera on. And we both said, man, we should have had the camera on. It would have been a nice stretch to film.
Yeah.
The largest expanse of Lake Conroe is coming up in the distance.
Yeah. Exciting.
There were a lot of people out fishing today, just people out and about. I guess it's still kind of early. Let's see, 9:04 a.m. Yeah. And if you're sitting by the water, you're probably not as hot. You can hear the wind. As we approached the lake, it picked up tremendously. It was blowing for some reason from the north, which is unusual for this time of year, but you could see the water was very choppy.
Yeah. Just beautiful. Yeah.
That's what I was telling Paul, that the water is very choppy today. So the wind's coming from north, which is unusual for June. There's a bunch of people down there fishing. Paul mentions it to me. I said, well, make sure you try to get them on camera. He said, oh, I got them. You'll see a bunch of people. They're just standing there right there fishing.
Yeah.
another person fishing. There are quite more than I see on the camera here. People in the boat, they're fishing. You're stationary. You gotta really love fishing to just sit there hoping to get a bite. A bunch of people there.
I'm filming.
That's what I told. I said, make sure you get them. It's kind of cool.
People are out fishing.
Everybody's out trying to get a bite. So there's more wind today than the last time we came. There was more debris on the path here that we're using, the side of this lane. Just a bunch of discarded lumber, plywood, 2x4, just, you know, like falling out. I'm sure it fell out of trucks that go by or whatever, but yeah, that's what we passed. I said, really? That was like a block, a concrete block, just sitting on the lane. So right here, we really started getting into the rhythm of riding, because, you know, periodically we take a lull and then we get back into it. Based on the sediment in the water, it was green earlier. At this point here, I notice it's more blue on this side right here, more blue. So depending on what's under there. We're working a little harder than the last time because the wind is blowing more. In a few kilometers, once we exit the bridge here, we go into the forest on Mount Pleasant Road. That's where we discover that this ranch owner has built a special pipe to provide water to passing cyclists. We saw the sign. It was so unbelievable we had to turn around and go back and make sure that's what we really saw. It was just a breath of fresh air to see that. And that road where it is, you're not close to anything, so it's a good place to have a water stop. This is where we exit Lake Conroe. The lake is huge. We just passed the biggest expanse, but If you go about another 16 kilometers west, you will come across the tail end of it. It is huge. So after we exit the lake, we turn and go north. And that's where we came across this.
Just discovered something we had to stop for. This is a place called Banshee Ranch. Banshee Ranch. And we just saw this sign as we were riding. And it was almost like, I couldn't believe it. It's on both sides of the fence. I'm gonna come up to the fence and film this. So, with all the stuff going on in the world, all these protests and all of that, you guys just need to know it's not all doom and gloom. This is somebody who has taken upon themselves to put a notice for us cyclists. Water available by fence. And he says, spread kindness. And he said, please turn off when done. And it's on both sides of this post. This light post here. Okay? Now, the water's right there. Is that cool or what? Now look, the water's there and there's a sign there that says water here. Let me walk over, maybe I'll get a better shot.
Let me grab the bag for you.
Okay.
So
I want to get some water.
yeah, go ahead.
So look at this. He ran a water pipe right here. You see that? And then he's got this sign that says water here. Is that cool or what? This is on Mount Pleasant Road in northwest Montgomery County. This is just cool, man. Really cool.
Never seen something like that.
So Paul's getting water, and I have to post. I'm gonna put this on Facebook in our group. The cycling group. This is excellent. The Banshee Ranch. So it's not all doom and gloom. We got good people out there, okay? It's just a few bad apples we gotta kind of straighten out. All right, legends and super legends, wrapping us up on our favorite road, Honea Egypt Road. Gotta love it.
We exited the Grand Lake Estates and get on Honea Egypt Road. You see they've been scraping it up in different spots. So we didn't care. We expected it to be all scraped up the whole way, but we're pleasantly surprised. In a few kilometers, we come across a new road. So we basically get ready to bring things in, wrap up this ride strongly. I'm zipping up there because it had gotten hot. I had unzipped a bit in the front. I zip up a little bit. We got more wind here. Everywhere they scrape this stuff up, it just feels like you're going over a washboard. The good thing is it wasn't too long on there. We're not sure what they're doing on the road at this point. We noticed that the last time we came down, there had been a big dip from just the weight of trucks in one curve. They had kind of smoothed that out, and you just had the gravel patch there. Well, today we found out that they had paved that entire area. So that was a nice surprise. We're going into the wind. For some reason, the wind is from the east. And I believe, yeah, we're headed east. So I thought to lower myself down to get some free speed without putting out more effort. Most of the ride, my heart rate would not go above 50 much, no matter how much I work. And you end up just feeling kind of blah as you go harder on those kind of days. You feel like you're not really firing completely. My legs were fine. It's just the rest of my body was not cooperating. It happens. Sometimes if you haven't had enough rest, sleep, I guess, your heart rate is kind of suppressed. But, different things can cause it. That's another one of the detriments to training with heart rate. You have to pay attention to those variations. I'm trying to find a smooth spot. There isn't one. You can see the camera shaking up. And then right here we see the new pavement.
Beauty!
New road.
Nice!
I move over. I know there's a car back there, so he can have more room to pass. I don't know what's taking him so long. Yeah, just, you know, some of them take too much time to go by, like it's a complication to pass a bicycle.
Yeah. That's a beauty. Smooth.
It's brand new pavement on Honea Egypt Road. Hopefully they'll fix up more of it. This stretch has been chewed up quite a bit. Cracks, different things going on here. Potholes. So that's good to see them fix it up. It's been a long time since they fixed this road. I'm not sure where I picked up that bug, but in a few kilometers I begin to climb. It gets real hot on the climb. There's no air or nothing. And I guess Mr. Man got uncomfortable where he had been. I didn't know he was there. He's in my jersey, or he gets in my jersey on my back. And he's sitting on my upper left arm, like my shoulder blade. That's where I first feel the bite. And as I try to reach for him, he starts moving down. And he's biting me each time. I grabbed him and popped him in there, held him, cut him into two pieces. I held it and the whole time. You know, because some of them, you know, that bite you, you can be allergic to them or something. You get a welt and so forth, but none of that happened in this case. You know, you get bugs hitting you in the face. If you leave your mouth open, you end up swallowing a bug sometimes. They're just flying around out there. They even patched this little area. There was a big little chewed up patch there to fix that. So it looks like they're just fixing the most torn up sections of Honea, Egypt. This part here where they scrape is real uncomfortable.
I hate that part.
I'll say, yeah, that part is just, and there's no way to avoid it. It's not long though, it's just in that curve. They need to fix it up. I don't know why they bothered doing that. There was nothing wrong with the pavement, so I guess they did that to give people traction, I guess. So right about here, we're still getting some wind. It's somewhat comfortable. Two things happened when I hit that climb. For some reason, my shifter on the left to drop to the small chainring was jammed or something. It took me a while to get it to drop the chain, because I didn't want to be cross-chained or anything, or even close to it. I tried to shift and it would not move. Right there. Right there. See my left hand? Right there. I'm fighting with it. Then I drop it. But I broke up my rhythm a little bit. That's what I told him. I said my shifter was jammed. I don't know what's going on with it. It happens sometimes if it's half shifted prior to you using it. Sometimes you can do that. So this is where Mr. Bugman, I guess he gets hot, because I told Paul it's hot up here. There's no wind right now.
Yep.
That's what he said. Yeah, I told him it's hot. The wind, I mean, it just disappeared. And right there, you'll see me reach. I feel a sting, and then I reach over on my shoulder right there. Then he moves down. I thought it was something from the outside. Then it bites me again. And then I reach, I'm like, man, it stung. And he's still biting me. So I'm like, enough of this. I reach back and I grab the area. I feel it right there. I feel it. I grab it. I popped it. Split it into two. I told Paul, something's biting me. I'm
inside
making sure
the
I keep my
jersey?
balance because I know these cars are passing. I don't want to go out in
Just
traffic.
squeeze it hard.
So I basically, at that point, he's dead. I'm moving him up in the jersey
Yeah.
there. I'm rolling it up, and I'm holding the bug.
I saw a bump there.
And Paul said he saw a bump when I told him that someone was biting me. It's inside my jersey. I don't know when it got there, but it had to have been there for a while. Probably when I had it unzipped earlier. So I basically unzipped the jersey, and I told him because I'm trying to get him out. He's stuck to the inside. He's not biting me anymore. He's dead. But it's stuck to the jersey because I had squeezed it. I can still feel it right there. I still feel it. So I told Paul, let's go into this little driveway.
Yeah.
So at this point, we know there's no car coming.
Roll on that side.
I look back, we just go across, and that way I can sit
I see
up,
a big bump over there.
and I shake him out, and Paul sees him.
Yeah,
sees
it's
him.
up.
Paul
I
sees
saw
him.
it. Yep. I
It's a
saw
pretty
it.
good sized bug.
Dang.
Bit the crap out of me. I felt that
Yeah.
it stung like a needle prick, basically. We resume.
Yep.
So I zip back up. There are no ill effects on the bug, thankfully, because some of them bite you. They can leave a welt. Like the good thing, it wasn't a bee or anything, because it can cause a reaction. You know, your body can react to that. So
Wow.
got him out. We continue. Yeah, it stung. It's like, man. As soon as we hit that climb, he must have panicked because it got so hot in there. Because they got hot on that climb. So yeah, those things you can get little bugs in your eyes. That's why we wear glasses. You know, you got to be real careful which days you choose to ride without glasses. It's not a good idea because there are some tiny bugs, and when they get in your eye, it burns. It's happened to me before. I had to basically stop, get off the bike, and take my water bottle and squirt water in my eye to get it out. That's about the only thing that can get that.
Yeah.
I'm explaining to him where it started up
When
on my
you
shoulder.
mentioned it, I
It
saw
started
a
moving back as I was
bump
reaching
on
back
the
there,
top of underneath the
moving
jersey.
down. He was probably trying to get out and couldn't. He just started biting me. So I've had bugs fly in my mouth while riding, and it's yucky. And some of them can strangle you. So I learned a long time ago how to open your mouth without inviting the bugs. You know, because sometimes, most of the time when I go hard, I breathe with my mouth open. So you got to be real careful how you do that. How you position your lips to where bugs can't fly in there easily, because it can hit the back of your throat. You know, that happened once many years ago. Wasn't a whole lot of fun. So we wrap up this ride here. This is Honea, Egypt, heading towards 2978. We've made a big loop of the area, and we're coming down, headed east towards Fishcreek. There are sections of this part that they actually scraped as well. So I'm sure they've got a plan. Hopefully they can execute it quickly so we don't have to deal with those little areas that they've kind of ground out the asphalt. But it was a long day in the saddle. It was very hot. By the time we got back to the house, we realized, oh man, we're almost at 100 miles. I thought, I don't care about the 2 or 3 miles that are left. It's too hot. I'm done. So we just wrapped it up. It was like the first day of some serious heat on the bike. So you've got to make sure you acclimate, because the heat is here. Even though summer starts officially around mid-June, thereabouts. As far as I'm concerned, it's here now. And maybe that's why the Team RR boys didn't ride today. So Anyway, we keep our appointment no matter what. If it's not an official day off, I keep my appointment with the bike. That's why I don't like to wait for people. If they're not going to do the work, they don't need to be riding with you. They need to be riding with those who are at their fitness level. And you all can meet and chat at the store or when the group's warming up. That's it. So I hope you all got a chance to get some K's in. Because this is what we did on Saturday. Keep those doctors fired.
That's awesome.
That's a wrap, man.
There it is. Back where we started.
Get your K's in. Get up, get out there.